What up, bitches? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent, taking care of yourselves. We are back in the lab. We've got Jack Skellington over there, Superman. We've got all of these amazing superheroes over here. We've got some lights up here now. We've got Sally, the girlfriend, back there. Now check this shit out. You ready? You ready? Yeah, you might not be ready. Today we're going to talk about Michael Herrera, the Marine who was in Indonesia in 2008, and he witnessed the human trafficking of the American government. And they took a whole bunch of other shit. Check this shit out. This is the 300-foot craft. 300-foot craft. Not 30. 300. Size of a football stadium. Check this shit out. Boom. Here you go. You see this craft? 300 feet. It's rotating while he's seeing it. He was on a humanitarian mission and saw this thing. This thing's rotating. It has all these different types of shades coming off, blacks and grays. You see, he's got this badass white guy here with this beard, and he's got I don't know, whatever he's got, a M16. They got the beefed up F-350s, and they got these human carriages right here that they're going to load up onto a platform that's dropped from this ship, and they're going to load it up on there. And check this shit out. I got even better video for you. They came up with some cool stuff on here that he talks about. So he says the bottom drops off of this UFO craft. This UFO is ours, guys. It ain't the aliens. This is ours. Check out how badass this thing looks. Check this out. Boom. See all that material loaded up? It was on the bottom of the craft. The bottom of the craft lifts up and goes up into the UFO. Look at all this cool ass shit it's got on the bottom. Look at all this. They did a damn good job on that. Now check that out. And this thing just blip, takes off. Outer space, no time. He says this thing's gone in the blink of an eye. Way faster than that. Check that shit out, okay? So, here we go, right? So, Michael Herrera, fascinating dude. I believe him. I think he's telling the truth. Now, here's the deal, right? His belief was that they were coming over and taking Indonesians and bringing them to wherever, were they sacrificing them to the reptilians who just needed, what's it, not chloroform, whatever it is, that chemical inside of our blood when we're stricken with fear. They love to drink it up. And then were they giving it to the gray aliens, or were they giving it to the Nordics or some other alien species just for trade, just for weaponry, whatever? Well, Michael Herrera did a little bit more investigation. Remember, he's a Marine. He does have some connections. And so he got in connection with some other folks, and he found out that although they are human trafficking these guys, they are taking these Indonesians, taking them, picking them up, and bringing them back to America. He stated that they're picking these guys up because these individuals are coming from third world countries. They do not have a lot of the technology we have. They're not raised the way that we're raised, and they're not mentally bombarded by the technology that we have. So they use these kind of more, I don't know, simple humans that haven't been bombarded with technology, and they're training them to use this new technology that they have, and they're trying to see if they can get this tech to work with these humans. That's what Michael Herrera is saying. What's interesting about that is it brings about ideas of District 9, where only certain aliens had the DNA that could use the weapons and shoot the weapons. The guy in District 9 was a human, and he got some of the DNA from aliens into him, so he could actually start using the weapons and fire off these weapons as well. And he became, a target of the government. So here we might have actual human trafficking by the U.S. government, taking them, bringing them here, but then once they're here, they load them up with serotonin and all these happy chemicals to keep them happy. They take care of these individuals. They bathe them, they feed them, they give them nourishment, they give them a lot of the things that they wouldn't have in the third world countries. And apparently what Herrera is saying is that once they're taken over here, a lot of them want to stay because they're being taken care of. My theory is that why, although they would want to stay, might want to stay, I believe that the drugs that they're feeding them would alter their decision-making capabilities, right? You're getting flooded with a whole bunch of serotonin. Who knows how much shit they're giving them? You've seen all these movies and videos, man. You don't know what the government's giving them. Remember those LSD programs back in the 60s and all that? Yeah, no, you don't know what they're giving them, how much they're giving them. Yes, we do take serotonin medications here in America. Sertraline, Prozac, all that stuff boosts up your dopamine and your serotonin, but it's not to the levels they're probably giving these guys. And, you know, you took these guys. You literally took them and put them in a container. I mean, come on. If they were taking these guys and, you know, being nice to them, they would have, like, picked them up in a Chinook or some other craft that had at least some comfortability, some luxury. Why would they take them in a UFO? Yeah, the UFO can fly like that, no problem. And it doesn't have to be seen on radar, so they don't have to answer to, like, air traffic control or none of that shit. So they're free. They're free to do what they want. So here's where it gets confusing, or maybe a little bit more clear, because Herrera believed that they were being human trafficked, but we had no idea where they were going. Now it sounds like we have a little bit more understanding where they're going and what they're being used for. Now, why would the government want to take them and use them? Because this dark ops team, this black ops team, doesn't have the mindset to use this technology. Now, this is very interesting, right? Why would they have to go all the way to Indonesia? If they need people that don't have, you know, a lot to their name, they could just go down to Central America probably and pick up some people. But maybe there's something about the DNA in the Indonesian people that they need to operate some of this equipment. Maybe the aliens have been genetically modifying the Indonesians with some of their DNA, and the government found that out. I mean, we're talking about 70 years or more, 80 years or more since Roswell. The government's had a lot of time to work out the DNA and all of the technology and try to figure out who can operate it, where, and why, and how. So maybe they need the Indonesians. So they go and pick them up. And then they flood them with serotonin. And they say, hey, we'd love to have you stay and work on this, and we'll take care of you, and we'll send money to your family, and da-da-da-da-da, this, that, and the third. Who in the third world wouldn't sign up for that? Let's face it, right? Especially if they're underneath the influence of medications. So, the next question is, what are they going to do with them once they're done with them? Herrera states that you can only flood somebody's body with serotonin for so long before you just die. So, if that's true, these guys, these Indonesians aren't sticking around very long. Maybe once the government gets what they need from them, maybe they just put them in the old recycling bin and they're done with them and flood them up with serotonin and they kick the bucket. You know, there's no way in hell they're going to send them back home, I don't think. I think it's kind of hypocritic to tell the Greys that hey, you can only abduct 1 million people and only, you know, and not kill a bunch of people, but we can abduct as many as we want and kill as many as we want, just as long as we get what we want. It's a damn shame, and there's going to be a lot more information coming out because Brian Sheehan, the attorney that's been working with the Disclosure Project since back in 2000 and now in 2023, has stated that there's this new program that's going to be unleashing this information, and the government agency that will be overseeing this will have the power to go into any base they want, and with their authority, the base has to open up and give them the information that they need, and they're supposed to report right back to the president. Well, that's going to be a tough thing because the president's always been left out of the loop, so that we have a big problem there. So let's go back to the Indonesians for a moment and the technology, okay? This technology that we've received from alien craft has been reported by people like Emery Smith to be beyond our imagination, beyond what we can even understand. A lot of it's buried underneath in Rome, where the Pope resides, right? So we have a lot of technology down there. Emery went to the Vatican to go underneath those the buildings into the library to find out information about that specific craft that looked like a rectangle or a square with like PVC pipes, and they had these old books from like, I don't know, 800 AD and earlier, written by monks in Tibet with the same pictures of these craft. So we have a lot of technology that might not have even landed here. They might not even be from the same species. You got to remember that there might be some species that land in America and have been doing experiments in America or in South America, and there might be species that have an agreement to work on the other side of the globe, and they have their own government and their own black ops teams that are gathering intel and gathering these ships and gathering their own information. And it's amazing that we have books from Tibetan monks. I mean, they have them, at the Vatican, which, is Italy. It's not in America, but that we can have access to them. And we're sharing information and access. So is it possible that certain species of humans might be more related to certain species of aliens? This is George Norrie's theory. George Norrie's theory is that the different races on Earth are related to different species of aliens. Now, do I believe that? No, not really, because I think we're all very similar. There might be more genetic experimentation on different types of humans, but I think that we're all still the same race. We're all still the same species. Just maybe we've had different interactions over the thousands of years we've been here. But maybe the Indonesians, those specific people, might have that DNA built in to put their hand on the alien technology, gather the information from that technology. Maybe it goes into their mind, and maybe the American government has the capability to see into the individual's mind with these MRIs that are coming out now that can actually see into your mind and understand what you're thinking. That's the shit that I'm talking about. We already have that tech, and the government already has tech that's like 80 to 500 years beyond that. So when we have this information, this understanding, and we have the right DNA, we can use it. Now, one might ask, why didn't the government just take the DNA and put it into an American scientist? Well, maybe they weren't able to. Maybe that's not possible. It doesn't work that way. This DNA might have to be from the actual individuals that it's originally from, and work the way that it works with every other piece of their DNA. Remember, there was a village in Romania where there was such a high level of arsenic that the individuals that lived there were able to drink from this well that had like 12 times the amount that was fatal to a human, and they were able to drink it. And they were fine, and they thrived. And scientists studied these people, and they were like, how the hell is this possible? Well, this group of people evolved, and their DNA evolved with them so that they were able to take this in. They were able to utilize this and process out the arsenic. Is it possible that these Indonesian people might be able to process through some of this information that doesn't go along with all the other humans that we've tried it on, but for them it works? Because for them, maybe either they have alien DNA or they have DNA that's similar to the aliens that had this technology, and the government knows exactly how to extract it from these people. Remember, these people, they might be well taken care of for the time being, but if they're being flooded with meds and the government's done with them, do they just have like some sort of paradise island that they ship them off to and say, hey, thanks for your help. Go chill out on this island and don't ever tell anybody, and we'll pay your family millions and millions of dollars? Maybe that's the case. If you think about it, maybe that is the case. I would hope that they wouldn't just off them. But this is the black, dark government we're talking about. Michael Herrera states that there's two dark governments. There's the black ops government that's dark, and then there's the blue team. So he calls them the black team and the blue team. And so the blue team is supposed to be kind of like the good team, and the black ops team, they just don't care. They'll just kill you and throw you out in the jungle, or at least they'll threaten to. The blue team is really trying to get information from these other teams. Now, here's the really interesting thing that I didn't cover, and if you stayed long enough, I'm happy that you did, because he states that these teams are operating against each other. They're trying to get craft from each other and personnel. So not only are they shooting down alien craft, he states up two to three times per year, but they're also shooting down other agencies' craft, taking the craft and taking these individuals, interrogating them, gathering information for their own teams, and then utilizing it. Wouldn't it be interesting if, there was a team that was pro saving these Indonesians and, this other Black Ops team against, saving these Indonesians, just using them and milking them for all they're worth? And wouldn't it be interesting if they're fighting against each other? That would be fascinating. We've heard stories of aliens walking through walls of military installations and stating that they didn't want them to attack certain other alien species, and the generals in that building stated, hey, you're not going to tell us what to do. And these aliens straight up annihilated everybody. I'm talking eviscerated them, just like meat all over the floor, just eviscerated, like sliced butchered style, Dexter style. So I think that there's aliens that, they don't mess around. They say, hey, we don't want you to do what you're doing. Follow what we say. There's a reason for what we're doing. There's a reason why we do what we do. And we hope you follow what we say. So really interesting stuff coming out of Michael Herrera, telling us about the blue team, the Black Ops team, the Indonesians that have been trafficked, and kind of what they're doing and what their role is. What is our government really doing with them? We don't 100% know, but his intel is telling him that they're kind of being milked for all they're worth. And it's going to be interesting to see if we utilize DNA in a different way in the future, if the government starts coming out saying, hey, we need to manipulate your DNA. What if the COVID shots were already that? What if they had some Indonesian DNA in them and they were just injecting them into the entire American population so that they can utilize the American population instead of going all the way across the world and picking up Indonesians? Who knows? I'm just throwing it out there. Weirder things have happened. So, anyway, guys, what do you think? What do you think with this new information, if it's true? If it's true, the government can take anybody they want, anytime they want, for whatever purpose they want, as long as it gives them more power. So, when it comes to our trust, they haven't earned it. They haven't earned it with us. They haven't earned it with the rest of the world. And they got a long way to go to bridge that gap. And that gap could potentially lead to the fall of a nation or the fall of other nations, because nations fall all the time. And if a people don't believe in their government, the government probably doesn't last that long. And it's tough. I mean, I'm an American. I want to believe in our government, but they haven't given us anything to really have faith in. I'm hoping for that to happen. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Take care of your family and your loved ones. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Till next time, guys, take care, and Lockdown Universe out.